Also this week, I had a few calls on this. Harvest Christian, who is a member of the same conference as Christian Life, Keith, and South Beloit, because South Beloit's joining the Northeastern Athletic Conference, told me that they brought an AAU basketball coach in, Andre White, and he's also involved with AAU teams. His son, who was a starting guard as a freshman at Loyola Academy, who is a pretty well-known basketball program, he's coming to Harvest Christian. Well, I guess they opened the summer league this year at Westminster Christian, and they were up like 99-40 in a summer league game.
Right.
And they were throwing balls off the backboard and slamming it. There's like 5 or 6 other kids that supposedly are transferring in. I got a story up about it, and I've talked to Harvest Christian. I was up front with them and told them what I was doing. I talked to some other people. I talked to a little bit on email with the Loyola coach.
Right.
But when you start bringing in a kid like him, and then he brings in, he plays for Mac Irvin.
Right.
And they're like a professional organization.
They're one of the big time programs.
Okay,
yeah.
so they're bringing in 6 kids, and then I was talking to my friend Jack Gleason, who's up on Chicago. I mean, he knows everything going on. He didn't know about Andre, so I felt pretty privileged that I finally found something he didn't know about. But Kahlil Whitney, who was at Solario, remember he was going to go to Solario and make that a major school. He didn't want to go to the Morgan Parks or anything. Well, I guess he decided he wanted to go to Morgan Park.
Right.
And I guess Morgan Park threw a fit. So what does he do? He goes to New Jersey, Matt.
Yeah.
He's going to play at some Catholic school at New Jersey for a year and come back.
Yeah. Because then he could probably transfer in with no problem.
You know, we talk about this stuff a lot, but that stuff's getting nuts. You know, when you were a kid, didn't you like going to the same school where you knew everybody?
Well, you know, we were kind of talking about some of this before the show. I mean, what amazes me about this anymore is if you are good, people will find you. I mean, you get so much exposure in the summertime and all that. It almost doesn't matter where you play. And hey, I understand it's fun to win and be part of a big time program, those kind of things. But if you're good at this point, you know, the colleges are going to track you down. You know, the pros will track you down eventually. That kind of stuff. I mean, it amazes me how much movement that there still is, given that. I don't want to say how unimportant the high school season is, but in the scheme of things, you know, guys, for the most part, aren't getting their scholarships based on what they do during the high school season.
No, because they only play a limited amount of games during the year, and they only stay in the area, too.
And most of your coaches, you know, your college coaches, not like they have time to get out during, because, you know, and they do get out to some games, don't get me wrong, but at that point, they're getting to kids that they've talked to in the summertime that they're already recruiting and things like that. It's pretty rare, not saying it doesn't happen, but it's pretty rare that these coaches are discovering somebody during the high school season.
That's all courtesy stuff when they come to a high school basketball or football game.
They're coming to show their face, to try to, you know, stay in front of a kid, that kind of stuff, to hopefully help sway him to come to their school. But, you know, it's pretty rare anymore that a coach is at a high school game saying, "Oh, who's this kid? I've never heard of this kid before. I've never seen him before." And
he might find somebody when he goes to another game that he didn't know from another. Well, but that's coincidental.
I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen. You know, but that stuff happens more for the smaller level schools. You know, they're the ones that are, you know, kind of picking over the leftovers, if you will, and they're looking at people at high school games saying, "Ooh, you know, this kid wasn't big in the summer, but, you know, he seems like a good player."
Or he's grown.
You know, so those things do happen. Kids slip through the cracks, those kind of things. But the point, that's what amazes me about some of this movement sometimes is, you know, you can play on a bad team, but if you've done your work in the summer, that kind of stuff, they're going to know where you're at and what you're about and try to get you in there. You know, it doesn't matter if you're on a team that only won 5 games or if you're on a team that won the state title. If you're good, and they're going to come track you down, and you're going to get the scholarships you're looking for. Same thing with the pros. I mean, obviously, the kids that are playing at Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas have a bit of an advantage, you know, having so much exposure and things like that. But you can play at a small-time Division I school, and again, if you're good, you know, because again, these players slip through the cracks, things like that. If you're good, I mean, look at Steph Curry. You know, at Davidson, you know, nobody gave him a chance. Goes to Davidson, now he's a 2-time MVP.
He was too little too.
Yeah, and now he's a 2-time MVP. So
and maybe have 2 rings in a row.
You know, so if you're good, they'll track you down, they'll find you, you'll get your chance, and you can do what you got to do. So that's what amazes me sometimes about all this movement. You know, I can understand movement if you're not getting playing time, that kind of stuff. maybe being upset about that. But yeah, some of these guys that are just moving around because, I want to be a part of this program because they win and that's where I want to go. You know what? That's all well and fine, but if you're that good, you should be more concerned about college and the scholarships and things like that.
Well, I was trying to find it on Twitter here. I've been looking, but I did see a AAU Twitter that said it's not about the rankings; it's about how many scholarship offers you get.
Yeah.
So that tells you some of the mentality you're facing. My thing is, I'm probably going to make AAU people mad at me, is IHSA says no more coaches can be associated with the AAU team because I don't think high school coaches coach AAU. And if they can't. Unless they do, but they're not associated with the school. Am I right? Usually teachers aren't.
Right.
So it's a mess, but that's the mentality is we're trying to get kids scholarships and make our AAU program look good.
Right. And that's fine. And I've got no problem with that. It's the influence in a lot of the transfers because that's really where a lot of that comes through is their AAU coach says, you need to go here or I've got a good relationship with this coach. And they start steering guys places, things like that. That's what you got to cut out.
And they'll charge you $450 a summer to be on their team.
That's right.
Too, so that's good money.